I watched the semifinal between Penn State and Notre Dame. I came away from that game thinking that Tennessee would beat both of those teams. Just a lot of lateral movement. I mean, they're not even getting downhill like you think of the traditional Big Ten teams. You think of hitting A and B gap, right? There was a lot of misdirection and stuff. And I'm not even talking about what Tennessee might do on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, as long as they stay home, I think Tennessee beats both those teams easily. Am I insane?
Well, I'm going to say could. I'm not going to say would, because we're talking about a Notre Dame team that did beat Georgia. We have to be fair on that.
That played an extra game.
Notre Dame played an extra game, not Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had a week off.
Georgia had to deal with having a week off.
Yes. Just based
and by the way, didn't just beat Georgia, manhandled them.
Okay.
Like, now here's.
You go ahead and tell me what you think. And then I've got my gambling expert out in Vegas. I'm going to text him and I'm going to say, what would the spread have been against those two teams? And hopefully I'll get an answer.
I'm going to tell you this right now, that the college football playoff path was much more about the path than it was the better teams. And we're seeing that very clearly.
You got to get it. You got to be done with the buys, don't you?
All 4 teams with buys lost, but that 3 of the teams that had buys were underdogs. That's the crazy part. I don't know. But if you're doing with the buys, you go to 16 teams. I hate the idea of a 16-team playoff. Like, why not just not? Let's just not have a regular season. Like, you guys just want to throw out the regular season. But
you guys,
everybody who wants a 16-team playoff that is going to get 8, 9, and 3 teams.
We don't know if those guys are listening. I mean, what are you trying to tell me here?
How do you have to add teams if you're going to get rid of? You have to add or subtract teams if you're going to get rid of the bye, and they're not going to subtract teams. You have to either go to 8 or 16. And so
they should have gone at 8. I mean, that was the number, and they messed.
8 was the magic number. 8 was absolutely the magic number. I agree with you on that.
Because I will tell you that I think the top 8 teams could have legitimately won a championship. I'm not sure that 9 to 12 could have. As a matter of fact, I don't think they could have.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And here's the other thing. If you want to do the buys, which I don't like, fine. But don't do the buys tied to the winning the conference. In other words,
just take the top 4.
Yeah, just the top 4 as you want to seed them.
No, there's another layer you have to. There's something else to do.
Think about how silly that is. If you won the SEC championship in basketball or the regular season, then you automatically get a 1 seed in the NCAA.
There's another.
Excuse me. That is absolutely stupid.
There's another layer to this. It's not about the buys. If you're the higher seed, if you earn a buy, you should get a home game. Like, I'm sorry, Georgia should have gotten to play, like, maybe not Notre Dame, but like Texas should have gotten to play it. Not Texas, sorry, they were on the road too. They didn't get a bye. Arizona State should have gotten to play at home, or whoever. Oregon should have gotten to play Ohio State at home. You should be allowed. You should get home games. That's why you play for the bye in the NFL, Dave. You know this in the NFL playoffs. You're not really playing for the bye. You're playing to play in your stadium, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're playing for. The bye is like an extra like cherry on top, but you have to win an extra game to do it. I'm breaking from you from last night. I don't know. Did I watch a different game? I thought that was like really good, like defensive football last night. Am I crazy?
It was a terrible quarterback mistake that decided it. I guess it's in the eye of the beholder. I tend to think that was more poor offensive play than great defensive play.
Yeah, but college football all year has looked like poor offensive play, though, hasn't it? So are we sure we're not over? Are we sure we're seeing? And maybe this goes back to the Nico question. Are we watching mediocre quarterback play this year and thinking, maybe it's just defenses. Maybe it's just the game has changed and defenses have adjusted to the elite quarterback play. Because Dave, who are the 2 Heisman finalists this year? Who was top 2?
On my ballot or
no, in general, who were the top 2?
You tell me.
Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty. When's the last time a quarterback wasn't in the top 2 of a Heisman finalist? Not just not winning the Heisman, not in the top 2.
I don't know. I think anybody that voted for Travis Hunter over Shadur Sanders is stupid.
Well, the point I'm making is quarterback play was down across college football this year. And so I'm starting to wonder, and maybe this is why I'm giving Nico a break. Like, look, Jackson Arnold underachieved at Oklahoma. We had so many SEC quarterbacks we saw underachieve. Are we sure that SEC defenses, not SEC, college football defenses in general, haven't just caught up to this day and age in football, and they are equipped to stop the passing attack like they never have been before?
Perhaps. Derek agrees with me wholeheartedly. Said I couldn't agree less. Yeah, I mean, maybe I saw something different, but if you can't go out, if either of those teams played Tennessee in that first half like they played, Tennessee has the lead going into half, and when they have the lead, their defense plays more free. Again, maybe there have been times this season because of the competition and the variance between a great team and a good team and a bad team and an average team. There have been times where it's really tough to assess because college football is too wide of a spectrum. The worst team in college football can never beat the best team in college football. That's not true in the NFL. Crazy things can happen. It's exactly. A little bit closer. That's why I think you need to lop off the 2/3 of the bottom of Division I and make the super conference. Because right now, we're half the games aren't even competitive that you want.
Yeah, but okay, if we're talking about Tennessee last night, Dave, are you telling me you think Nico, we just talked about it, do you think Nico would have performed any better than Riley Leonard or Drew Aller, given what he did this year in big moments? Maybe Drew Aller, because Aller was awful. But
yeah.
But, Penn State came away with 5 sacks. How many times do you think Nico's getting sacked?
Well,
17?
He was sacked 4 times against Ohio State. So, yeah, maybe the pressure would have been too much. But, again, we've got to stop saying the word. Can we make a resolution? We are not going to say the words talent and Nico anymore. Okay? Because, listen, when it comes to talent, Jamarcus Russell has a ton of talent. Joe Milton has a ton of talent. And I'm not comparing him to the other guys, or those guys, or Nico to those guys. But it is time that we say to ourselves, Nico has talent. Great. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, ultimately, you've got to go out there and perform, and he wasn't ready at the beginning of the year. Now, I'll say this. I think he played better, and he showed his toughness late. And I still would say in our poll question that Tennessee would have beaten both of those teams. You can vote. Notre Dame, Penn State, both or neither is our poll question, and that is up now. You would say what? And it's brought to you by Chattanooga Mortgage. Congratulations. Your home search just got easier. Buying a home in Chattanooga has never been easier. Chat Mortgage with 2 T's. Chatmortgagewith2T's.com. Which direction would you go, Caleb?
Tennessee could have or would have. There's a difference.
Would. And it is Bank on It. Brought to you by Commercial Bank.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions.
All right, Caleb. What say you? Would have beaten Penn State, Notre Dame, both neither?
Would have beaten Penn State. Wouldn't have beaten Notre Dame. I'm sorry, they wouldn't have. I think that and it would have come down to quarterback. I think Riley Leonard would have outperformed Nico by 1,000 light years, honestly. Say what you want about Riley Leonard. He showed some moxie at the end of that game. And also, and I'm being questionable with that too, because Penn State had 5 sacks. So how many times would they have sacked Nico? I'm only saying they would have beaten Penn State because Penn State finds a way to choke big games, and James Franklin just screws it up all the time.
Do you ever get to the point where you're so down on somebody that everything they do, you just kind of nitpick? Because I'm that way with Marcus Freeman. I've made up my mind, and maybe I'll back off of it if he continues to have success and wins a championship. But I get up from the couch and I'm watching that game, and I'm going to the restroom, And I hear him, they ask about the quarterback situation and the injury and said, well, we might not have as many quarterback runs. And I just thought to myself, why would you say that? Because I will tell you right now, there is somebody at Georgia, there is somebody at Alabama, there's somebody that they watch every single second of stuff that's broadcast about Tennessee. And I guarantee you, even though it was during the game, somebody was watching television and got a message to Penn State at halftime that he just said that. I promise you. I've talked to Cooper about this, that Tennessee has an army of people that watch all the content, especially when it has players on it from other teams.
Well, Marcus Freeman also almost made my football IQ. Because would have made it because
saying what you're going to do in the second half and not do that should make it.
Well, that wasn't even it. Like that wasn't even the worst. So did you remember when Notre Dame got the first down that effectively set up their game-winning field goal and then they spiked the ball right after that?
Yes.
Why are you spiking the ball? You want to make you like, why are you spiking the ball? You want to run the clock, take a knee. Like anything.
It's just
like
so bizarre to me how the clock management thing, does that not seem like the most simple thing?
Coaches get it wrong all the time.
Well, I know. And I understand that there's a lot going on. I get it. Okay.
But they should just hire somebody.
Yeah.
Hire an analyst to be like, hire an analyst. What was it that was written back in the day that Butch Jones was like, why didn't Butch Jones just hire a common sense person to say? And by the way, and I want to last part, and then at the end of that game, I almost wanted to put him because did you notice Notre Dame's defense? They were having 3 guys in spy on Penn State's like desperation drive. Why do you have guys in spy when you need to prevent defense? That's the stupidest thing. Drew Aller's not going to run for a touchdown.